Good morning again. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Metal Markets. I'm your host, Market Stalker D. I've been trading metals and energies for close to 20 years now, and I joined Topstep back in 2015 as their first female funded trader. If you've been around this show for a while, you know that my approach is data-driven, and I also lean on order flow concepts such as market profile, tape reading, supply and demand dynamics, options, gamma levels, and even statistical averages to find some higher probability areas where the dealers are expected to adjust their positioning, which creates the ebb and flow of our intraday price action. So every session on the show, I'm identifying some of my anchor points and talking through some of my own possible hypotheses for the day. Now, before we begin, please make sure to read the risk disclaimer that Bruno posted in chat so that we're all on the same page. Okay, let's begin with gold on a daily time frame. I look at the daily chart every single day because I want to know where we are chart location wise. We have a bearish candle from yesterday, but 4800 is still not getting broken. So if they break 4800 to the downside, that would be a more serious reason for a pullback. For now, we're just kind of fighting in this single print area from quite a few days ago. But yeah, a little bit of a slowdown in that rise up. Does that mean that we're going to have another reversal? We'll see. It depends on what happens with headline risk. There is still a lot of correlation across the board in equities, gold, and equities, metals, and energies because of the Iran conflict. So keep your eyes peeled on or ears peeled. Can you do that? On Topstep TV and even on Financial Juice, which is what we use for any kind of headlines hitting the wire. Let's have a look at copper. Same thing, daily chart. Yeah, so remember yesterday how I said, copper looks like it's gone up quite a lot and I might want to look for some sort of a reversal. Now, the problem with copper is that it is in rollover, so I don't know how much power we might get as a momentum trade because the volume during rollover gets split between the new what's going to become a new front month and the old one, and that tends to lead more into like wishy-washy kind of range-bound price action. So if I can get some sort of a pullback and then, I don't know, maybe a short, I don't really want to go long in this situation because we topped out, we have a doji, this could easily turn into an evening star. Can it go higher? Well, anything can happen, of course, but it's just a little bit too high up at the moment for my liking. We have some supplies around about this area, and I do think we're due for a bit of a pullback. Mo says, good morning, Dee. Do you think 6,000 for gold and 200 for silver are realistic targets for 2026? Mo, thank you for the question. I don't really look at things in that way. Like, I try not to predict any particular number where the prices might end up. That is something for, maybe buying some silver and gold bars, right? So I do think that silver in the next 5, 10, 15 years has a pretty decent chance of reaching, way higher. Like we're talking, 250, 300. But is it going to happen in 2026 for silver and gold? Probably not. It's just not, like, unless we get another high crazy volatility environment. I'm seeing silver leveling out with the craziness and going back to what I know is true about it, which is like fairly smooth movement, but at the same time not super crazy. So fairly liquid, just not insanely volatile. And I like my silver that way. But having said that, I do have some long-term silver bars. I bought some when we were breaking out from 45 level, and then I bought another bar in when I think it was 71.50 was the price, if I'm remembering that correctly. So if they continue to go, higher, maybe I'll get some more, but I'm kind of just seeing that as a very long-term investment. I'm not really seeing, 200 this year necessarily. Again, not impossible, but do we think that the, Iran conflict is going to continue? Because that is something that has been driving the metal markets. Maybe not, right? So, well, it depends. But to me, it's a low probability that I will see silver at 200 already this year. It's just, tricky. I mean, we can look at it on the daily chart, right? So where is 200? It's pretty far out. And let me just see if I can, do they do monthly here? Let's just see how, what is the average range on the monthly time frame. So you have about, what is this, $16 in a month. And this includes the crazy months that we've had since this whole madness began. I don't think that we're going to be staying in this elevated environment on the monthly ranges. But even so, let's say that, we have how many months left in the year? So, what, about 7-8 months left? Now this is probably going to put some intraday levels here. Let me delete those because you're not going to be able to see it. So I'm going to just use the measuring tool to see, just projections of how much movement we could have. So let's see, if we're moving $16 now, including that high volatility, so let's not make stuff up. So that would mean this would be, and let's assume that it just goes straight up, right? This would be maybe month 1. Let's just say that this would be month 2. And I mean, remember, nothing goes up in a straight line. So I'm just like projecting the best case scenario, like how many months would we need to actually get to 200. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oops. Right, so we would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight up months with very little pullbacks in an elevated volatility in order to reach 200. How likely is that? I'm going to say a lot less probable than expecting that we might get to maybe 150, but in a bit of a wiggly way, right? So not straight up into the heavens, but a lot more ebb and flow. Now, again, remember that this projection of about $16 range a month, it includes the extraordinary volatility. So we're probably not going to have that. And, if we go back to June and July, we only had about $4 of range. So let's say that we end up somewhere in the middle. Let's say we have $8 of range. Well, those targets very quickly, the projections of even a smooth uptrend still do not bring us anywhere near 200. So I don't think that's super likely, but 100 yes, 150 maybe, 200 this year, not without some external catalyst. And frankly, I didn't enjoy silver when it was going nuts. I have a sweet spot for the intraday volatility where I feel comfortable, which is about now. Anything outside of that, and I feel like we're in like some massive risk waters, and I don't personally enjoy that. All right, so let's go to crude oil before we get into intraday levels, because everything is still dancing to the tune of crude oil. So what do we have on the daily chart? I mean, it's hit a demand level. See this area here? And it's trying to reverse. But the problem that I have with these sorts of reversals, it's a spike, right? It's a pin bar. So really, until we get a day that finishes into a fairly solid bullish engulfing, I'm going to say that this is probably some kind of a range, and then maybe they go down and swipe the lows before they do anything else. With the potential ceasefire and potential negotiations being successful, I don't see a reason why crude oil should go back up to 100. Yes, there's been lots of disruptions with the crude oil production, but crude oil is very focused on the news that concerns its supply. So if in the immediate time frame there is no threat, they will get this down below 90, below 80 even, into some more normal waters that we spent years. So remember, for years crude oil was between 75 and roughly $50, and we stayed there for a very long time. We don't even have enough data maybe here, but you know, the further back you go, you will notice that that $75 and $50 range is a sweet spot for crude oil. So I wouldn't be surprised that if they sort themselves out, if they start working on the infrastructure, you know, start rebuilding, there is no need for crude oil to be up this high. If there's an escalation, then, you know, I can see crude oil going back over 100 and maybe even tagging those 120s again. If it's really unsuccessful and there is an escalation of the war, then we should really be up at 250, because if they keep smacking facilities, that's going to cause trouble for the entire crude oil supply chain, right? And that's not good. That means semi-apocalypse coming your way. So get your bottle caps ready, because that will be the new currency. Can we trade bottle caps? I don't know. All right, let's get into some of the intraday time frames here. So I'm going to go back to gold for a minute. And as always, we're going to have a look at what Asia did first and foremost. I'm going to switch on my intraday levels. All right, Tokyo high established at 48.95. Is that Tokyo high from last night? It is not. That is a Tokyo high from the previous evening, so I didn't do the marker. Alright, that's more like it. So, established at 48.60, that was Tokyo high. As you can see, we tagged pre-market, this is that Shanghai reversal. So we tagged the high and then immediately reversed. And now we're kind of sitting in London's value from yesterday. Let's have a look at where COMEX value is located. All right. And COMEX value is also here. So at the moment, so I ran my Asia trade through this area. I just assumed the range. Now crude oil is not, not crude oil, gold is not in rollover. But, you know, some of the other metals are, silver, copper. So I do expect to see a little bit more movement in crude oil. Again, with crude oil. Jesus Christ, what is wrong with me? I do expect to see more movement in gold in general over, you know, silver and copper. until the rollover is finished, and then we can kind of have a look at copper trades again. But yeah, so Asia has been much smoother for me. So I'm actually toying with the idea of avoiding trading COMEX altogether, because it's just like I get this sensation like whenever I enter a trade across the board, by the way, wherever we are, there's just so much push-pull, tug-of-war, push-pull, tug-of-war. It's just not this like smooth directional intention. It's all just like, where are we going? Nobody knows. Should we go up here? Nobody knows. Is there a Trump tweet? Nobody knows. Hey, there's a Trump tweet. Let's go this way. Oh no, let's put it. And I hate that kind of price action. I don't think anybody enjoys that. So even if I'm in a range trade, I want some sort of, movement. But no, you have to wait for half an age. And I don't know why that's happened now, whether it is because Trump is awake, so that's when he tweets the most. And during Asia, they're just like, okay, well, this is what we're doing, right? We're buying gold, the end. And then it just does a very smooth movement. So I've been able to find smoother trades, both in crude and in gold, and also in silver. Not copper, because copper's been a bit quiet. But it's just been, such a tough market. Like, is it just me, or is anybody else finding... Yeah, well, CL, it has so much taco trade risk. If you don't know what taco means, if you didn't see it, it stands for Trump always... What is it? He basically always bails out, or I don't know what they put as CO, but basically whenever people start dying, he immediately pulls the army out of the country in question. So yeah. Dave's Pirate Life said, I took that trade on MGC at Shanghai Open. Excellent. Dave is one of my market stalkers, so you know the deal. Asia and Asia momentum, right? That's what we're talking about. And then usually they establish a high or a low for this session just in and around their lunch. And Tokyo is an odd session because they actually close the entire exchange for lunch. And then they come back. It's like, what are you doing? Nobody else does that, I don't think. I think the LME has a break for lunch, but it's not like, because LME is also a bit strange in the way that they trade the metals that are industrial metals all in 5-minute increments. And then every 5 minutes there's a ring that signs that the metal is now changed. So they trade nickel for 5 minutes, then they trade copper for 5 minutes, then they trade aluminium for 5 minutes, and it's like, so it's called the ring both because of the sound upon the change of the metal traded, but also because the whole area is like kind of like a big circle, so they're like in the ring. And but yeah, it's an odd thing. So they just break for lunch, and they don't trade everything all at once. But Tokyo trades everything, and then everybody just goes and does nothing, and they do nothing for like an hour, and then they come back. But during that hour, that's usually when you see a slowdown in price action, and that's the time of the day for a very simple reason. They're off to lunch. When you get the Shanghai exchange high or a low, but I use generally the Tokyo high, that high that was made during the lunch break. That is my reference high. After that, I sometimes do either depends on where the price action is. Like, for example, if we finished the Shanghai exchange somewhere here, I would then be looking for a swipe through the Tokyo high before anything. So it's like a little scalp. But, I usually like to be a little bit further out to get a good profit margin. However, if we're so close to it and the Shanghai exchange is already about to close, I will look for a reversal through the Asia range, usually for about 50%. Sometimes it rotates all the way, but it's kind of contextual. If it's a very strong uptrend and you're smashing the Asia low and then reversing, then you have a better chance of it going all the way back through the highs. But that's a context thing on this strong trending market. It doesn't happen always. However, the 50% pullback, that's something that happens most days. And yeah, it's a pretty sweet setup. So well done, Dave. It's a good trade. And it was really drama-free as well, because I stayed up until about, I think it was like 1:30 a.m. and grabbed about whatever this is, like 209 ticks. It was only one micro gold, hilariously. So I waited a little bit, and then once they opened Shanghai, they just kind of actually they pushed from Tokyo, and yeah, I entered once I saw some like strength in and around VWAP, and there was like volume to support it, and then once Tokyo opened, they went and smashed it even higher. So that was pretty sweet. And I had the 48.50 as my target. It got touched, and then that was pretty much where they started creating a little bit of a top. So those levels become orientation points. But one thing that I have noticed, yesterday we had a gamma wall around 48.50. Now that's moved higher, so we have a gamma wall from the end of day snapshot at 4,900. And then we have a lot of puts at 4,800. Now, the reason why I said they didn't go below 4,800, even though they seem to be reversing, is because of that, right? So these are protective puts. So if you can't break 4,800, we're just going to stay in that range. So that is one of the levels that is of interest to me. If they start to break outside of that, there could be a very nice movement down to 47.50, and then that will be, I think, within the day's movement. All right, so let's see what is going on in crude oil now, because I might have a setup. I'm just going to quickly go through the levels. So we don't have too much here. There's a end of day GEX 2, which was a decent level yesterday. We're kind of above it right now, but we are also failing the auction, so difficult. Very difficult. And we have VWAP just underneath that. That's not too perfect. Because, you know, VWAP bounce is always a risk, and then you have to like sit through a drawdown in order to get a bigger target in general. So it's not super ideal, but it is failing the auction. So these blue lines, they are the initial bounce markers. And then to the downside, we have a very strong put wall at 90. And then further down, 88 is a potential area. So yeah, levels are stronger. Let's just try like one crude oil, because I mean, it is failing the auction, so let's give it a go. Positive delta on crude oil, 1,731. Let me just check when I'm looking at that. You know what? Let me change that to the London delta, because I have it from Globex. Let's see what London is doing. I mean, pretty much the same, right? It's still positive delta, but so far, again, sitting in a supply area, so near these like resistances, whatever you want to call it. And let's see if they can break 92. I kind of feel this is copy-paste from yesterday. Deja vu. Deja vu. Yeah, and this is probably a function of the rollover, right? So they try to go somewhere, the steam runs out, and then they're like, yeah, let's go back down. So yeah, I could, you know, leave this longer to try and tag 90, but the rollover is just kind of preventing me from running slightly bigger targets. So, I mean, even if I get some 70 ticks from this, the only thing is, like I said, VWAP bounce, so I'm expecting it to tag VWAP, do a bit of drama, and then maybe we'll go through it on the second try. So let's just expect that as a possibility. Now, I suppose you can have a similar setup in gold, as well, because gold is trying to go higher. And since they're negatively correlated, that would be pretty much the same thing. But gold might be a bit quicker. Just wish that I had a better level here. So if I do go into gold, that would have to be like a scalp up to 48.50 and then the end. But they've bounced from this developing value low here. So yeah, let's change that. And what sort of size do we need? 75 might suffice. Okay, not perfect, but let's see if we can grab a little bit of momentum up. So this is basically a mirror image of a similar trade, with the caveat that gold is not in rollover, so it might be a bit quicker than something like copper, which is a snail at the best of times. We also have VWAP, like it's literally like mirror image here from one another. Okay, crude oil is moving. Now, because these are meant to be scalps, I might actually trail, because I'm not looking for too much. And if they start to mess around, like around VWAP, I don't necessarily want to be smacked on the face. But yeah, because this is a mirror image, you know, let's say that I'm using 2 micros as my base default size on this account. You basically partial it into two products. Don't do this if you're a beginner. You know, I've spent years doing co-integration algorithms and stuff, so I'm used to seeing like a basket of things doing something, and then, you know, adjusting my positioning based on the given correlations that we might have currently. But yeah, I'm wearing silver because I don't have a gold blazer, because every courier stole it from me. I ordered one, it was beautiful, and it never turned up, and I was so angry. Like I was fuming that my expensive gold blazer never made it, so I'm guessing the guy just stole it, which is very, very annoying. And as a result, I have to wear silver when I'm trading gold, which is a first world problem, definitely. Right, so we're just looking for a little range trade here in gold up to the relevant first area of interest, which is X2. Let's call it 48.50. We can eke out a few bucks here from the market. So crude oil is moving nicely here. They've just gone below 92. Will they sustain? Will they, won't they? Ooh, let's go. All right, let's have a look at chat, because I haven't looked at everybody yet. Have we got any promo codes? No, I don't think we have any at the moment. The Pickle FX says, when I hear your voice, I know that I'm going to make some money today. Yeah, absolutely, man. Hopefully the thing that I'm yapping about here, or the levels and stuff, is all to do with responsible trading practices, making you survive longer, you know, build those accounts, maintain accounts, don't blow up because you're trading with dollars in your eyes. It will all come, just with a bit of patience. But nobody made it by rushing into the riches. All right, that's a pretty strong Mariposa candle here. Let's see if we've got follow through. Or are they going to decide to mess around? Gonna give them a bit of time here. I do want to see some liquidity on the tape, which I'm not really seeing, so they might still bounce it. Because usually if you get like on the heat map, if you get a little streak of liquidity. Oh no, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. And so usually you get like a strip of orders, and then they use that to run through it, kind of like a fuel. The fuel. Alright, so we're going into almost a neutral day now on crude oil, and this target is a little bit aggressive here, so we're gonna tag initial balance low. Let's see if we can make a neutral day here, and then I'm gonna bail. So I'm not gonna hold it for like super long period of time, because we're still in danger of the range bound market. Just gonna increase this. Alright, so we have some exhaustion here, so I'm gonna book that. Now let's have a look at gold tape. Okay, that's still looking pretty strong on gold. Let's see if we can grab a few more here. Yeah, so crude oil now officially has a neutral day type printing, and it is losing steam, as you can see. And I'm guessing they're gonna pull it over VWAP and then mess around a bit. Now for gold, because I do want this to be a fairly quick movement, I am going to protect this like that, because it's if it doesn't go like right now, it's not gonna go at all. And crude oil is now kind of bouncing. That could have a knock-on effect, because everything is slave to whatever crude oil is doing. So I have to use some of the crude oil levels here to manage the risk a little bit better. So I do want to see them carrying on. There's also a developing value high here on gold. That's a danger. So we need to go exit that. Otherwise we are still in a situation where the daily chart is giving us that reversal, and because of that, this is a dangerous counter trend to the higher time frames. So therefore, if they don't keep going, I do not want to be losing a trade on the account of me doing longs against the larger time frame sentiment during London. Does that make sense? So we protected that. Whatever happens, we're going to walk away with a tiny bit of addition onto whatever we've done in Asia. And if they do decide to pick up steam to the upside, so be it. It's a little bit different. Oh yeah, Trump always chickens out. That's the one. Taco. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, the pickle FX says, yeah, even the winnering trades don't feel the same. It's very uncertain. Yeah, it's like, was that within the plan? Yeah, like you never know if you're like, should I have held that longer, or was it okay? And then it starts to chop around, so you're like, okay then. Like my trade yesterday, I was aiming for the London high, but it only tagged value high, and I could see them like plowing in a ton of cash, so I didn't manage to take it off just in time. But I lost a lot of the, like, instead of ending up the day like 560, I ended the day like only adding a little bit more. So it was like, oh yeah, 450. It's like, oh great, because it was so quick, I couldn't react in time. So yeah, I have to be a little bit quicker now that I have my new medication, and my brain is slowly coming back. I've noticed that I'm able to make faster decisions recently. Trading Nickel says, I was late to Asia market yesterday, would have been a good gold long. Turns out it would have been chasing it, moved so much, but coming in later can be chasing. Yeah, so if you missed that initial run, trading nickels, just wait for the top or the bottom to be created in the lunch hour, and then just take the opposite side, because it's you know, it's a very decent decent amount of movement. All right, let's see what gold does at VWAP. Some absorption here. They are trying to absorb. The Righteous One says, good morning, good morning, good morning. Lido is here as well. Good to see you here. Trading Nickel said, well, we're coming up on crude's VWAP. Yeah, so the thing with VWAP on crude oil, it's sometimes like, it will bounce, but a lot of the times it's like, yeah, especially if you're in a more range-bound situation, it doesn't have as much of a strong effect as it does on something like, let's say, copper or, ES, NQ, YM and RTY, they love VWAP, especially RTY loves smashing through VWAP, then turning around, pulling back to it, and bouncing again. It's an excellent directional indicator on those products. On crude oil, not so much. It's a different animal. It can happen, but it has to be like a reason for it. It can't be just like a flat VWAP and then, crude oil hits it and reacts just because it's VWAP. It doesn't do that. So there's like a little behavioral quirk there. Right, we have some liquidity, just a tiny amount of liquidity on the main GC contract that's turned up. So let's see if they can kind of smash through it, or whether this developing value high is going to be it. And for that purpose, I'm watching tape, not liking what I'm seeing, guys. So I'm going to take this. Just take the value high at VWAP. That's a decent confluence. And for now, they were not able to go higher, so that was a little scalp. That's how D scalps. I don't know whether that's helpful or not, but we have to have some pretty strong confluences, and then I just take small size, take a few bucks here, a few bucks there, add on to it, and then that's it. 2 scalps, and now I wait. I'm not going, ooh, let me catch it on the short side. No. Now I'm tired, now I need a break, right? So it's like, oh, that was difficult, because scalping requires precision, timing, momentum for sure. You need volume for scalping. So if there's no volume, like for example copper, I'm not going to scalp on copper. It's not doing anything. If anything, I can execute a long copper trade and just sit on it. That will be the one for longer term movement. But even that, it's kind of against the day's movement. So if that turns into an evening star, it's basically just going to shake me out and keep going. So I'm not very keen on copper until it rolls into July. All right, so we've done some work here. Catherine says, good morning, thanks. I needed that D. I blew up yesterday. Oh, I'm sorry, Catherine. Just size down, man. So I don't know. Are you trading the New York session? And I don't know where you're located. Can you maybe trade Asia session or the last hour of Shanghai if you are trading something like gold? Because you can't, if you're still learning, you need smoother movement. Like these markets during New York are extremely difficult. Like even I'm looking at crude oil after 4 hours of trading, and I'm like, I don't know what they're trying to do here. It's like, I know all the stats. I've watched crude oil, but it's almost like they're not doing anything until there's a piece of news. And then it's like, bleh, or whoosh. And then you're like, well, I missed that. Now what? And then they start chopping and chopping and chopping. Like even the best of traders, we still need movement that does something, right? We can't just chop in a range. You need a decent range, and you need momentum of some sort. Whether I'm running a failed auction, which is typically a momentum trade, it's a mean reversion trade. If you see a failed auction that's just like, yeah, we've gone outside, now we've turned around, and now we're kind of going. It's like, that's not a failed auction. That's the price action drifting in and out of initial balance, and more likely, that's just a range-bound day. True failed auctions start with a sweep. There's a sweep, and then a quick reaction to the opposite side. So if you're not sort of in halfway into the initial balance already by second TPO, which is the 30-minute bar, just another name for it, then there's nothing. There is nothing. It's not a failed auction. And more likely, you're going to find yourself in a market that goes so sideways that, you start thinking that you're in a supermarket picking up, a piece of fruit with a barcode on it or something. It's terrible, and I actually hate that, So I know myself. I do know that I like smoother movement, but I still like more volatile environments. Not overly volatile, just volatile enough. Sweet spot. I think crude oil is in a sweet spot right now. I think that silver is getting there, right? RBOB and heating oil, batshit crazy. Still not touching that, because it's like, unless you have, $250,000 of actual money in a buffer, you can't do like sensible stop losses that will make you like actually consider a trade that has enough room to do what it's supposed to do, right? So that's the whole point of me using slightly bigger stops. Yesterday she said she will never go break even. I don't go break even on swings, but when I'm looking at VWAP coming up, and I know that I'm doing a scalp, and I know that I've also doubled up on the position here that worked already, I don't want to give that back, because it's the same position that I've already effectively partialed through crude oil. Does that make sense? So I will go break even in certain situations when I don't think there's enough opportunity for a swing. But if I'm in a swing, there is zero chances of me moving anything to break even. Zero chances. But neither of these are swings. Gold is against the daily time frame. I don't know whether people are just like tuning in and they're like, I don't know. This is against the daily time frame. We had a big reversal on the daily. So my trade was against what's basically a shooting star and maybe turning into 3 inside down at some point today. So I'm doing a long. So what, am I just supposed to let it go against me if it doesn't go now? That doesn't make any sense. So, I never move things for a swing. So if I'm in a short on gold and I manage to catch it somewhere from 4,900, let's say that we get there, then we start to mess around, and then we start to go down, and I'm in a short. I ain't moving the stop to break even. Why? Because I know that the next area, especially if we lose 4,800, is 4,750. And gold does these like massive jumps off a cliff that are at least $50. We've seen it fall $100 easily, over 1,000 ticks. So why would I move anything to break even? But if it's a scalp and if it's risky against what I'm seeing on the daily, yeah, I will put it to break even. So like, shoot me, I'm a very sensible trader. I don't do things without a reason. And you've seen me on fast markets as well. I'm not on it super frequently because I don't really enjoy it. But if I'm already in profit on the day and I am doing a trade purely for trade attainment purposes, yeah, I'm going to put it to break even. It goes like 40 ticks in profit on copper, for example. I'm going to put that to break even. And then if it just carries on, it carries on. If it doesn't, if it starts to mess around on me, I will take it off early despite the break even. I'm not going to wait for it to get to break even. And I did the same with gold. So yes, there was a break even stop, but did I wait for it to come back on me and smack into my break even? No, I took some profit on it because I identified that it's no longer valid. So it was just like a minor protective measure just in case the news hits and I'm not able to react fast enough. That wasn't the case, so we took a few ticks out of it, and now we're good. Does that make sense? So you have to be working within the narrative of the day and what's going on the large time frames, right? So if your trade is against the narrative of the larger time frame, at any point, the big boys can step in and go, let's just drop 1,000 gold, liquidate, right? And then you don't have time to react. And your trade is against that. It's like, what the hell am I doing? So you have to be a little bit defensive if you're doing riskier counter trend trades based on the current day, that, time of day where certain things happen. So I know that gold likes to range during this time of day. I know it. Why? Because I've looked at it ranging for London for a million years at this point. Literally half a million. Almost. No, I'm joking. But I've been trading gold for as long as I've been trading crude oil, which is like crude oil from 2013, gold I added in 2014, and I know how that market moves. So, you have to put, again, it's the situational awareness. That's why I call it situational awareness, not a setup. The setup should be within the awareness of what the market is doing or what the market is trying to do. And then also having knowledge of what happens at certain parts of the day with your product. Now that information can be obtained via backtesting, but actual executions, decision making in the moment, that has to be done through forward testing, so turning up day by day, working within a systematic framework, not just I'm just going to click some buttons, see what happens. That's, I would argue, gambling, right? But if you have a good idea of what should happen versus what is happening and what you're expecting maybe later in the day, that's when you need to adjust expectations for certain parts of the day. Okay? Troop says, I've gotten so used to choppiness that I've been struggling to hold these longer directional moves. Same. Absolutely the same. And I can hold them during Asia perfectly. No problem. But the choppiness during New York, I've gotten to a point where I go have a nap. That's where we've got to, right? I don't even trade it. So I trade the beginning of the Asia or super early London. Then maybe I'll do a couple of trades on this stream, but sometimes I don't do any. And then I'm done. Then I might look at it for the Euro close. But if I don't see anything, then I will try look at it for settlement for COMEX or NYMEX. If I still don't see anything, I'm done. Literally done. I'm not, not trying to catch any super big swings at the moment. But I've got to say, copper, that's starting to look pretty bloody bearish to me because it's trying to break through Tokyo low. But the problem is the time of day is wrong for that. Why? Because as we get into COMEX, what's going to happen? They're going to, who's they? The Wizards. They are the dealers and they're going to smack it back up before they come back down. So if I'm going to run a swing, I need it to happen closer to the London close than at the open or whatever, other ideas you have. All of my swings, these days they're done through options, but all of them are done towards the later part of the session in the day. All of them. I don't like to run swings earlier. The only time I will run a swing earlier is if I manage to catch a good Asia trade on the basis, let's say that gold is not, I ran, again, a counter trend trade in gold during Asia, still. But let's just say that Asia gave me a short setup, a very good short setup. So we started to go lower in Asia. So now what do I expect? Yeah, I expect a bit of a range for London, but I will expect COMEX to carry on whatever Asia began. So London goes against it slightly, and then COMEX I look for continuation on the basis that we have a slowdown in price movement and a potential for a reversal and a swing lower. In that case, I will carry on the trade through the nonsense and ranginess of London all the way into COMEX, because by then I have enough space for my trade in a swing to work out. Why? Because it was made in Asia, and Asia already made a pretty decent move. If it hasn't, so if it's still sitting, 50 takes from my entry, I will not be holding it into COMEX. I will take profits and then look for another intraday opportunity and maybe try again next time in Asia. But these days, because Asia starts pretty late, whenever I'm doing an Asia trade, I'm kind of more doing more like Tokyo Open, and then whatever I grab in that first hour of Tokyo. After that, I'm like so tired, and I have to go to bed. When we get to October, November, we'll go back to Tokyo opening up at midnight my time, and then I will be able to capture maybe a little bit more of the reversal that typically happens around 1:30 a.m. when Tokyo goes to lunch. But right now they're going to lunch at like 2 a.m., 2:30 a.m. That's too late for me, so I'm going to sleep sometime. How can I get XS Topstep t-shirt like that sent to Ho Chi Minh City? So you can go to apparel. Bruno, can you grab us the Topstep clothing thing? Because there is a link. And this one is just a muscle tee. So this is actually, I think, an XS as well. But yeah, they have... I like their muscle tees for some reason. Just like... I think they're for men, but but I prefer them than the t-shirts they make. Because the t-shirts, I don't know, I'm not really a t-shirt kind of person. I'm either a muscle tee or you know, kind of a V-neck person. I feel like really claustrophobic whenever I have something. Like when it's really cold and I have to have a turtleneck, I hate it because I'm like, it always feels like it's choking me out. But yeah, so if we can get the apparel, there we go. So Paradave, so go to shop.topstep.com. That is where we sell our Topstep merch, and you can get a t-shirt that says Topstep for your girlfriend. Can you actually see that? I am in selfie mode, so obviously it's flipped the wrong way. But yeah, it's a pretty cool shirt. It's muscle tee. The model D. I was a fitness model for like a hot minute. With D muscles, yeah. So Lido, you know. Yeah, I was an amateur bodybuilder in bikini fitness, so I actually won a number of competitions. And even like my first competition was crazy because I was in two categories. One of them was my category at that point was over 35, but I figured I would go in with the young chicks, right? I expected nothing, and there were, you know, you put me next to a 25-year-old, you'll see that I'm not 25. I know that I look younger in general, but you know, they just have this like smoothness of skin and, you know, this tautness of the muscles and stuff that, you know, us older chicks just never get. And I still ended up like placing, so I placed like 5th, and there were 22 young chicks in that category, and it was my first competition. I did not expect anything, so I won the over 35 category and came 5th out of like 22 young chicks. So I was like, I'll take that, that's cool. And then I went on to win like about like, I don't know, 6 or 7 of them. I've got trophies somewhere. I should probably like do like a shelf and put them behind me, because I'm pretty proud of that, and I'll probably never be able to do that again. And it was a great year of me competing, so that was a huge test of the mental discipline more than anything. And, you know, the fact that I looked amazing in jeans was also not bad. But yeah, so I was obsessed. I don't do anything halfway. This is one thing you have to know about me. I either go like dog with a bone, you do it well, or you don't do it at all. Or you know, or I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. If I can't win like a competition and a plastic trophy, I'm not gonna do it. So I'm one of those people that has to be in the gym like 6 times a week or not at all. I know it's stupid, but it's just how my brain works. And actually, I posted when I was super sick still, I think about a year and a half ago, I posted a photo of myself winning the PCA competition. And somebody asked whether it was AI. And I was like, you bastard. I was like, do you know how hard I worked for that? You're asking me if that's AI. It's like I was hungry. I once got almost into an old car, another person's car that wasn't even the same color as mine. I kept going. Like it's this incredible discipline of mind over body. It's like incredibly addictive. So to me, that's the addictive part. The fact that you get to control the limits of what your body can do. And in many ways, that's what we're trying to do with trading as well, right? So I frequently say that trading is like dieting. If you're running in controlled losses, so you have a data loss limit that you set for yourself. I like scalable data loss limits. So, at certain times I might have, $500 allowance, other days is $750. But then if I get onto a really good streak, I will actually release my data loss limit to be like up to 1.7K. It just depends, it depends on how the P&L is doing. So it's scalable. But if you have controlled losses that are based in data, you will maybe get a losing day, but that shouldn't derail your entire account. It should be like, I always say it should be like a bitch slap rather than a punch in the face. We're all adults here, right? So we don't mind a couple of slightly suspect words. But if you don't have that, it's kind of like ruining your diet. If you liken the cheat meal to trading, if you mess it up for one day and it wasn't a cheat meal, now you're going, oh yeah, well I had that cookie, so F it. I'm just gonna go back to eating as if it's a cheat day every day. So let me get that pizza and curry and, I'll get the cake and get another cake and get all the cookies and, what else do we have in the pantry? And this is what traders do with their P&L. So they have, one losing trade, then another one. Instead of going, okay, well that was, not great, but hey, tomorrow's another day. No, they get zoomed in and they just go, no, now I want more trades. I want bigger trades. I want to get it back. I want. Yeah, you want, mate, but the price action ain't given. So, and, you have to have so if you're still in that state of not being able to control yourself, you have to have risk limits doing it for you. Some people are like, oh, isn't that a crutch? Yeah, but you need the crutch if your legs are broken, right? And that's what you're doing. You're constantly breaking your own legs, then trying to walk without crutches and failing over and over again. Do you like my little metaphors today? I have no idea where they're coming from. But yeah, so use the risk tools, lock them out every single day, decide on a sensible data loss limit that will be enough to give you some freedom to, keep learning and trying a few things, but also not so large that it takes you out and wipes out your entire profit that you've done over the last 3, 4, 5 days, 2 weeks, however long you've been in the account. Am I still working out now? So unfortunately, Martin, I ended up with a vaccine injury 4.5 years ago. And before that, I had long COVID as well, so that was fun. And that turned into chronic illness that severely limited my life. I've only recently gone onto a medication called low-dose naltrexone, which is very much regulated in the UK, and even though you have to go to a private clinic to get it, if you don't have an official diagnosis from the National Health Service, the NHS, they will not prescribe it for you. So I had to go through the hoops of getting the diagnosis first from the NHS, which took bloody forever, and then I was able to get to a private clinic and they dished it out. So now I'm finding, I've posted a few things on my Instagram. I had very little side effects. I had some tremors on the morning that I increased it to 1 milligram. So I am more functional. I'm no longer spending all of my free time in bed. My legs are working again. The pain has been minimized because I used to get like muscle pain a lot, to the point that I became an ambulatory wheelchair user. I still have the chair just in case, because I'm not cured by any means, but it's so much easier. I still get tired if I overdo it. I got a little bit too overexcited over the weekend, so I went to clean the entire house because I love our place and it's so beautiful. So I decided to do vacuuming. I dusted everything in sight. I emptied the dishwasher, put another load on. I wiped every surface that I could find in the house, and then I crashed. So I was very tired the next day, but it wasn't like a proper crashy crash like I used to get. If I tried to do that before, I would just fall into bed for like 3 days and just sleep, maybe get up to go to the bathroom or something, but that was it. Like, I was totally not functional. And then, you know, things like personal care and just skincare, it just went away completely. I know that I spent a lot of effort trying to make myself look normal, but those of you who have been following me for a long time, you know, some people here are my market stalkers from back in 2019, 2018, before, you know, all of this. And you know that I used to be a lot more energetic. I was super snappy with my decision making, and then it all suddenly went away. So I'm not cured, but I'm happy that I can have a bit better quality of life. So yesterday I had a reasonably big day. I did sleep for a couple of hours in the afternoon. Don't know what that was all about. But then I got up, I fed the dogs, I did some gardening. So my Cavalier is not doing that well. He's not eating, so you have to like make him eat and stand there and kind of push food in his mouth trying to get him to eat, because he has to still have meds. So that's been, you know, very stressful. Poor guy. But yeah, I did a whole bunch of stuff, and then at the end of the day, I was still okay to take a shower, had enough energy. That's never happened. Like, there were days when I didn't have enough energy to like wash off the makeup. I was just dead. So, and I have to have makeup obviously because I'm on camera a lot. And I would just be crashing, and that would be it. Like, totally dead to the world, done. But last night I was like, I took a shower, scrubbed my face. So I had a good old wash. Did all the skincare, and still had energy to sit down and actually watch some TV with my husband. So it was like amazing, right? Like, such simple pleasures that you don't realize the power that you have when you're so sick, and then you get a bit better. So yeah, so unfortunately I would love to get back to exercise. I don't think I'm there yet. It's still very, very early days, but we'll see. Maybe if I get stronger, maybe I'll be able to, I will never be able to go back to bodybuilding because this is a lifelong condition. And this new medication does kind of dampen the effect of the environment and the sensory overload and stimulus that we have, those of us with this disorder. But yeah, it's hopeful that maybe I might be able to do some light workout at some point. So yeah, it's an exciting time. I didn't realize that you can get a pill that will minimize all of your symptoms. So yeah. What is the condition called? So there is a more common name for it, but it doesn't describe it very well. The new name for it is myalgic encephalomyelitis, but my one is as a direct result of vaccine injury that caused a shingles outbreak that the doctors didn't want to treat, and then I was basically just stuck with a huge viral load for like 9 months, and it damaged my autonomic nervous system. Fun, I know. So it used to be called chronic fatigue syndrome, and I hate that name because it implies that, you're just a little bit tired. Not mentioning the fact that your legs don't work on some days, that you have excruciating amount of pain. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, D, how much do your calves hurt? 50. Really? Yes, 50. And you just get used to it, which is so crazy. Now that I'm in a better place, I just can't believe the amount of pain that one person can just live with. It's like, it's incredible how strong we can be when the going gets tough. And I don't like to say you know, some people are like, oh, you're handling it very well. I do what I must. Like, it's not like I have a choice, right? My other choice is sit in a dark room with earplugs and an eye mask. Like, I don't want to live like that all the time. I will sit there when it's really bad. But, you know, it was the light sensitivity. It's not just chronic fatigue. I would get outside in the sunlight. So for some reason, artificial lights never bothered me. But, oh my God, sunlight, I would go outside and it's like an immediate migraine that will not go away for days. And nothing really touches it. Nothing touches it. So you just have to like live through it in a complete misery and try and somehow use, I don't know, I was using like there's this thing called the forehead. It's like a peppermint based cooling thing that you put on your forehead, and then it kind of makes it a little bit better. Yeah, so I had like my ways to try and get rid of it, but oh my God, the sunlight sensitivity completely disappeared in 3 days since I started this. I'm just like dumbfounded. Like, I don't know what's going on. So it's like, is it a switch in the head where, or is it the fact that this thing blocks opioid receptors and floods you with endorphins? Does it reset the autonomic? Because it feels like it's reset something in me. I don't know. I'm not a medical professional. I'm medically aware. But whatever it's done, I'm super happy, right? So I can have a slightly more normal existence rather than refusing all social because I can't handle it without. I mean, I can do it, but there's like a trade-off. There used to be a huge trade-off where I'm in bed for like 2-3 hours, but I still have to do the streams. I still want to do the streams. And that was excruciatingly difficult. So I just started not going anywhere. I would be able to handle like a bit of, like maybe a bit of quiet diner sort of thing with no music, no nothing, just like a bit of chatter in the background, and then come home after about an hour. That was my tolerance. So when I first took the LDN, the low dose naltrexone, I went for a brunch with a friend, and I was tired the next day, but I was in a crowded restaurant, very loud. We were talking for 4 hours. I drove there and back, which is like 20 minutes there, or almost 30 minutes there and back. And the next day, I didn't crash. And I was like, bomb, man, this is amazing. Please, may it continue, right? The UK is Europe's California. Leave that there. Do you know what, mate? You're not wrong. Things have changed a lot in the UK since Brexit. It's not the same. Someone asked, are crude oil longs on? I don't think so. Not yet, anyway. Not yet. We do have a strong put wall at 90. It's like, this is just... Like, look, maybe into the NYMEX Open, maybe we can have a reversal and then a new day's high, but I would still be looking for failed auction somewhere. Maybe from 94, but longs from around here, I would say that's a little bit tricky. I would want to see this kind of closer to this Asia low before, because this is middle of the swing, you know, let's have a look at it. Like structurally, where do you see the support, major support here? Like not even any advanced concept, nothing. There it is, right? So what are we doing up here? So structurally, this is the main swing, up, down, up, down, up. So where are your two main supplies and demands? But basically this, right? And let's be a bit more pedantic here. That's what we're working with. So really, if you want to run a long, I'm not saying that you can't run a tiny little long from like this area here because it's VWAP, but don't expect that it's going to be a swing, because I'm guessing they're probably just going to take it back. And in slight worry here is that we're under the developing value, because this purple area, I don't like to be under it if I'm planning a range trade and we are in a neutral day type, because we extended the initial balance that these blue lines are first hour trading high and first hour trading low. We popped the high, we popped the bottom, so maybe you can go back to point of control. But again, I'm not really seeing, I'm seeing absorption here and positive delta, but usually they start to really run it up from VWAP already, and I'm not seeing that yet. There's a couple of liquidity points here at 91.80 and 91.90, but they don't seem to be having too much of an effect on price at the moment. So yeah. If this developing value low gives way, maybe we have a good chance of rotating back to the swing high. But for my money, I would prefer to be long sub 91 if I was looking for longs. Yeah. Joaquin says, I saw the castle with the guillotine inside the castle by the rover. Yeah. So, Mr. ME653 been studying into integrated therapy for over 25 years. SKT. Listen, all of that I tried. Nothing made a difference. Two things that did make a difference: minocycline long term, just in case you got somebody who's like struggling really. But you know, low dose naltrexone by far the biggest effect. Like nothing else tackled the amount of systemic disruption that I had prior like this. But it doesn't work for everyone. It works approximately maybe 50-60% of us who are responding to it. So minocycline was one. Out of the more natural supplements, serrapeptase and nattokinase, they are, one is like a fermented thing from Japan, and the other one is a Japanese silk bug enzyme that breaks down like fibrous tissues in your body that are non-living. That had a big effect on me, but I couldn't take it for long. Because I also got a tremor for that. I don't know why, but maybe it was clearing out some microclots or something. I don't know, but it definitely caused me to like you know how old people, not that I'm that old, but I'm 45, granted over here. You know how they like do this chittering with their mouth? Well, I had that for like 3 hours. It wouldn't go away, and then I felt normal. So I don't know. It cleared up something, but that worked. Mushroom stuff, no, nothing worked, made no difference. And I tried all of them, separately, together, separately again, tried again. Strangely, I tried coenzyme Q10, couldn't handle it. It made me feel wired. It was odd. And I'm not sensitive to stimulants at all. In fact, one saving grace for me was that I was able to do caffeine and energy drinks throughout my illness. So if I needed to push through, I would be having like Celsius. I mean, you've seen me wired on group coaching, right? So I would be trying to get myself upright, and then I would smack down like half a Celsius, and then I'll come on and be blah, 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 like I wouldn't shut up. It's terrible. 5-star trades. You ain't 45. I am, man. The camera forgives a lot, but I do have little wrinkles here, and a shit ton of makeup as well, so that helps. But yeah, 1980 over here, Gen X, or as some people call us, Zennials, because we are like a weird blend of kind of, we're not really millennials, but we're not exactly Gen X either, because I would be the last year of Gen X. However, you know, we did use the rotary phone. I was playing outside as a kid. My first computer was an Atari. You know, we had only 4 channels when I was growing up. we had the antenna, and obviously my dad in 1991 got this satellite TV, so we were able to watch like Star Trek and stuff, which is amazing. So probably why I'm still obsessed with like TNG, because that was the show of my childhood. But yeah, I am a little bit older than people imagine. I don't know why everybody thinks I'm so young. And you know, how could I be with Topstep since 2015 if I was if I was, 25 or something. Like, I started trading when I was in diapers. NQ looks like it's going to bounce upwards. Any thoughts? I can have a look at it. I don't really trade it much, so statistics on NQ are not something that I can provide with great certainty because I don't trade it enough. I trade it like once in a blue moon, but generally I'm not too keen. Did I do... Hold on, I'm going to do my options levels on it. And usually on NQ you have like pretty big anchor points that can provide decent swings, but again, it's all been so strange. Alright, so 26,500. Let's change this to micro NASDAQ. 26,500 is coming up as an anchor point in the way I do things. It is from GEX levels. And again, we kind of missed it narrowly, but that becomes something to consider. Now, to the downside, I don't have anything until 26,000 in the monthlies, right? So let's have a look at the end of day snapshots, just for a little bit more view into the intraday. Hon NQ. Hey, we're doing more rhyming. Brilliant. Let me just get the right contract here. Alright, yeah, it's the same thing. End of day, 26,500 comes up as GEX 1. Okay, so we do have some end of day levels that could be useful. So big drop to GEX 3 at 26,300. So that will be the next area where some sort of chop is expected. And this is outright NQ, not like QQQs or NDX. So it's outright NQ futures. And then you have the same thing, sort of 26,250, 26,200. So that's what I'm saying. Whenever you see these levels that are jammed up like this, if you're there already, that means they're either going to spend half an age trying to break through it, or they will settle into a range and that will be it for the day. That kind of lines up with some single prints that we created pretty late last night. But yeah, so we have a big space between the current development for London. I don't know whether they're going to go long from here. They might, but it's looking a little sketchy. And how many days have been going up? Let's have a look. Those all-time highs are coming quickly. All-time highs. Yeah, so, I mean, how much further can this go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 straight days up. Isn't there a stat that says that equities mainly have 9 straight days as a maximum? So that wouldn't be like, median number, right? It would be a mean, as in like taking the extreme and then using that to create a number. But yeah, maximum amount of straight up days, I think it was 9. So do we think that at this level we can keep going higher after such a huge run up? That is one question that you need to ask yourself. And crude oil is falling, I can see it on book map. So let's try and find, like, I don't know whether I've seen this recently in equities. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that breaks the streak. That's also not a streak. I mean, it's been a while since we've had 9 straight up days. Probably need to go back to like tariffs or something, or COVID. Don't know whether we're gonna have data. It's not really loading, so I don't think we've got data that far back. But yeah, so that's the only question I'll be asking myself, knowing that we've had such a massive run up for such an extended period of time. How much more juice do they have before they at the very least start to take a breather at these levels? But this is equities, you know, no bad news, so we go up. And even if it's bad news, but it's not that bad, they're still like, hell yeah, let's go up, man. So yeah, equities are a weird product to me. Just this relentless. It's because what they are, right? They are designed to go up because people use them for, you know, pensions. They use them, like, you never see somebody going, oh yeah, I'm going to sell NQ and hold that until I'm like retired. Nobody will say that, right? But that's also what fuels this whole, like, the 401ks and everything. It fuels the upside bias on equities. So nothing is impossible. We could end up in yet another screamingly up day and smash into all-time highs. But those all-time highs are really not that far. So if we go into a gamma squeeze above 26,500, all-time highs would be on the cards. We'll see. We'll see. I'm just a little bit skeptical after this. It's an insane amount of trend. Yeah, we'll have jobless clams, as Hoagie Bear likes to say, our friend John Hoagland. So we'll see what they say. Do they care? when Trump tweets, if he tweets at the same time, what do you think they're going to care about? The jobless claims or whatever Trump said? That's the tricky part. How's ES doing? Let's see if it looks the same on the daily. I mean, yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's just... Yeah. That hurts my eyes. It's like, upside. No. Did I change that already? I did. Oh, yes. Okay. Ha! See? So crude oil heading towards the demand level, but because this is an intraday demand, wouldn't be surprised if they kind of swipe it into the strong put wall and then reverse. Maybe at that point we might have some long opportunities, but nothing yet. So yeah, that's gonna be me. I did a couple little scalps here, so we added a little bit. Now it's time to chill and to watch the crowd for the opening call. Who do we have on today? Let's have a look. What are we? Thursday. So, opening call, we have Coach J, JD, and John Hoagland. So, that'll be a very insightful analysis. Always useful. And, yeah, we're going to have a look at what they say. What do they see in this market? And I'm actually going to listen to see what they say about the equities, because, you know, again, I'm not a core equity trader. Like, I trade DAX, but like NQ on this account, I did one M&Q trade like 3 weeks ago. So that's how often I traded. Martin is asking, by the way, do you know what happened to Eddie? Where did he disappear? So Eddie had a minor stroke, so he is still recovering. He's doing well, but obviously it's his health, right? So he can't just... This is a lot, guys. Like, you know, I'm kind of fortunate that my illness is like on a sliding scale, but when you have something as serious as, you know, actual stroke, you don't want to be burdening yourself with additional work. So he's been... from last I heard, he's been doing a lot of work on his like puppets, because he's a puppeteer, and just being very creative, you know, doing stuff in his workshop and just trying to get his health back on track. And yeah, he's doing okay, but obviously it's a massive issue. So I don't know whether we're going to be seeing him. I miss him a lot. Obviously everybody misses him. He's such a character. And yeah, I mean, I hope that someday, you know, maybe I can sit for a coffee with him or something. But yeah, we all miss Eddie. So hopefully he'll get better. That's the only thing that matters. Whether he's on Topstep or not, that's completely beside the point. As long as he's alive and well, right? All right, guys, that's going to be... it for today. So we have 4 minutes left, but you know what, I'm gonna finish it up early because we don't really have any trades or anything. So we're coming into that pre-market COMEX time. So COMEX is gonna be opening in about 24 minutes or so, and then you have NYMEX open top of the hour on the next hour. And we'll see what crude oil and Trump and this whole Iran ceasefire Israel mess has in store for us. But I might be thinking sit out the New York session, however weird that may sound, and just focus on Asia. Bit of pre-market here for, you know, for the duration of this stream. If something obvious comes up like today, failed auction in crude oil, that was pretty tasty. Yeah, I'm just thinking chill with the New York session until it shows me that they want to be a little bit less labor intensive. Anyways, thank you so much for sharing your time with me and for you know, sharing your stories on health as well. Really appreciate that. We all have our little struggles or big struggles in life, but yeah, we're all getting to know each other pretty well here. I'm Marcus Stalker D. This was the metal markets. Stay safe out there. Use the risk tools. Try to take it slow and steady. It will all come with some patience and risk control. And let's see what this day has in store for us. It is Thursday, so if you have some profits for the week, now it's time to go into that capital preservation mode rather than, ooh, let me get more. So try and save it. Try and save it. That's all. This was the metal markets. I'm Marcus Stalker D. Yet again. Have a good one. Take care.